the person that you built in your mind, the person that you had a relationship with that you built in your mind, that person doesn't actually exist. They're not real. They're not real. She wasn't who she appeared to be. And she isn't who she appeared to be. She isn't the sweet, understanding, fun person that you cared so much about. That's not her. That's your memory. That's what you built in your head. She is actually the selfish, self-centered person that cares about herself first and doesn't care about you. That's the reality. And that's fine.
Yeah, it's dangerous to dwell on past mistakes because people sort of define themselves by the worst moments that they've ever had. And if that's the case, like some people are stuck in high school. You know, they're stuck in failures that they had like when they were first getting jobs, and they always think that they're a loser, and they don't like the feeling of failure, so they keep low expectations so that they never have to feel that. You gotta get through it. You gotta get through bad feelings. You gotta get through failure. It's very important, and you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going. But it's hard for a lot of people because that sting, they never get over it, the feeling of failure, and they don't have a good support system, like good friends. Like having a good community of friends, very, very important, because you could feel like down, like if a girl broke up with you, when you feel like you're the worst, you're a fucking loser, like you're a piece of shit. But then you go out with your friends and you have a few laughs, and next thing you know, you're laughing and you're like, I'm all right.
So yeah, here's the truth about male-female relationships. Women fuck men they respect. That's it. They don't fuck men they like. They don't fuck men they love. They fuck men they respect. If she loves you and likes you and doesn't respect you, she will not have sex with you. I have women who respect me and fucking hate me, but they're here every time I call. So if they respect you, they're gonna sleep with you. And this is something that's biological and evolutionary. They fuck men they respect. And I say, look, it's much harder to fix something that's broken than just never let it go wrong in the first place. From the second you got together, you should have been a man, and you haven't got to be an asshole. You haven't got to be aggressive. I'll sit with a girl and very politely say, look, if we're going to be in a relationship, if I'm going to take you seriously, you're not going to have male friends. If you want to hang around with a whole bunch of men, then I'm not going to take you seriously. What do you mean you won't take me seriously? I mean, we can fuck, but I'm never going to look at you as serious material. So the idea, the decision is on you. If you want to be serious, you're not going to talk to those guys. You want to talk to those guys, I'll fuck you sometimes. You decide.
So once you've covered the foundation, you know where you're at, you've been in the gym as well, or you put your energy into hobbies where you're not as angry anymore. Now, with a clear mind, it's time to move on to find somebody else. Because what happens is, if you focus on that girl all this time without finding a replacement to actually put your mind to, you're gonna want to go back to your ex, hit her up on the low, like, oh, hey stranger, I miss you. Nah, she left you, you left her for whatever reason, move on. Now, with that clear mind, where the clarity's there, there's no animosity, no hate, there's no like deep-rooted like issues right now, because you did the first 3 steps. Now when you find somebody else, it's a clean slate. Now once again though, this is only good if you're in a clear set of mind, because what happens is guys will move on to another girl and they're still hurt from the last girl, and they mess it up as well. So you gotta be clear in the head from what we said earlier, and then once that's done with the new girl, you should be good to go. But if you're not doing this, guys, step by step, if you're not actually clearing your mind first, you get another chick, you're gonna the same issue, you're still the same person, and that means once again, she's gonna cheat on your ass, she's gonna abuse and use you and disrespect you as well.
First things first is that going through a breakup sucks. And every single man out here, no matter what they say, understands how bad it is to go through a breakup and understands what heartbreak's like. It's difficult, it's not easy. I'd actually like to argue that men feel more heartbroken than women. I think that's facts. I think it's true, and I think it's because one of the possessive element that we have, the idea of her being with someone else hurts more than the idea of you being with someone else to her. And secondly, because you have a lot less options than she has instantly. So I think that breakups are worse for men than they are for women, and I understand how difficult and hard they can be. However, the unfortunate reality is that chasing her and being dedicated to her and saying you're going to do whatever she wants, etc., is very unlikely to work. It's very unlikely to work, and you have to look at the scenario you're in, look at the chessboard, and make the best possible move. When you're heartbroken, when you're truly heartbroken, you can't even sleep, and your mind is constantly preoccupied. And instead of seeing that as a negative, what you need to do is use that as a source of unlimited power. If I was truly heartbroken today, let's imagine, and I could barely sleep, I'd be in better shape than I've ever been. I'd train like a fucking animal. You have to just take the energy inside of you. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. whether it's heat into light or momentum into friction or however you want to put it, right? Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted from one form to another. And you have to look at that and understand that the sadness inside of you is energy. You can't destroy it, but you can convert it into something else which is constructive. And you just have to suck it up, buttercup, and get over it.
I've had times in my life where I've thought too much about regrets and stuff in my life, right?
Yeah.
And we've talked about that some in the past, like looking in the past too much, right? Or
Right.
attaching myself to the past. Has there been anything along your journey that you've kind of regretted? And then how do you deal with regret?
I mean, individual choices and mistakes, yeah, but ultimately you learn from those. So, like, no, because like even the regrets, the bad things or the stupid things, you learn not to do bad things or stupid things. You know, all those things are beneficial in some way if you can get through them. You know, if you like did something that resulted in someone's death or something horrible like that, yeah, it'd be a terrible regret. But I've been very fortunate that hasn't happened. But the dumb shit that I've done or the bad mistakes that I've made, they've taught me. You know, you learn. Like, that's why failure is so important. Like, failing and fucking up and making mistakes, very important. That's how you learn. That's how the bad feeling that you get from something that you shouldn't have done or wish you didn't do or wish you did better. Like, especially failing at something where you half-assed it and you just feel like a fucking loser. Like, that just teaches you to get your shit together.
Accept the reality of your situation, which means, for example, this guy didn't know what he was to her, but he thought he was more than what he was. And that expectation, that assumption, gave him a false bravado, saying, you know what, I'm the man, she's with me. No, she's the woman, you're with her. So that dynamic there caused that to happen. And you see it manifest all the time. Girls are out in public with their boyfriend, smacking them, talking shit. Oh, I'm single, I got situation shit. On a podcast every night, girls like, oh yeah, I kind of have a man, back and forth. I don't know yet, but we're figuring it out. Nah, if it goes into you fully, I have a man, period. There's no like situationship or no like, oh, I don't know. It's, hey, she knows what's up. She has a man. So kind of covered that earlier with my speech and mine as well. But number one is, guys, if you're in a situation, know where you're at. You got to know what the dynamic is, because if you tell her something right and she don't listen to you at all, she's like, oh, whatever. She does not respect you at all. And that means, for example, you're not her leader. She's with you because of convenience maybe, or she's comfortable, but overall it's like, okay, I'm with a guy, but do I actually respect him? No. So once again, guys, you should rather be single than be in this scenario, because this means you're her toy, or you're basically a placeholder boyfriend, like Mike said earlier.
A lot of times the pain that we feel isn't based on the reality. It's based on the fantasy. So you're feeling pain of losing something that wasn't real. So let the fantasy go. Remember that she is not the perfect person that you built in your mind, period. She's not. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. And then move on, brother. Get after it, work out, train hard, go to jiu-jitsu, hike, run, play guitar, just get after it. And those things, not only are going to distract you from the pain, which is good, they're going to improve you as a human being, which is good, and they're going to rebuild your confidence, which is good. They're going to make you feel good. They're going to make you stronger and smarter and better and put you into a place where you don't need that little made-up fantasy anymore.